Hey everybody, this is 67 sunroof off of the Samba. I am working on a 67 sunroof bug. I've got to the point where I am putting the door handles on. As many of you already know, you can't get door handles in the aftermarket, so you have to take care of what you have. So I decided to take them apart. I found some information on the Samba from Rare Air. He talked about taking the guide pins. A lot of the guide pins will break off in them, and I thought I would run over it real quick for people that do have this particular year that want to take care of their handles so that they do not break on them. So I'm going to set it down here. I'll make it short and sweet. I like short and sweet videos. So let me set you guys up here so I can run over some of this stuff. I'd like to thank YouTube for letting us make videos and show them off to everyone else in the world. I've learned a ton of stuff off of YouTube by watching other people doing things. Some may do them right, some may do them wrong. And I'll tell you right from the beginning, I've already taken this apart, so I may be doing a couple things wrong. If I am, let me know. But I've learned a lot just by looking at the function of these, how they work. I'll say a lot. Hopefully I won't. But we've got these pins that Rare Air had mentioned about. There is a small slide pin. If you look at the original design, this is the original slide pin that's in. When you squeeze it, it slides right through there, keeps it nice and everything level and correct. There's two different handles from what I can see. I don't know about handles, but the insides. This one right here, if you'll notice, has a square part that keeps the whole guide pin straight as you're pushing in on it. And this one still functions fantastic. From 50 years ago, it's functioning great. You also have this other style, which when you press in on it, it doesn't have the square part. It has more of a round part, so it doesn't keep it square as you're pushing it in and out, which I think allows the guide pin to go like cockeyed when you're pushing on it and eventually breaks them off. That's just my theory. I've also noticed Wolfsburg West makes the seals for the handles here. I prefer the original. Most people do prefer the original. The fit is better. Wolfsburg West has more of a square. This one right here is the original. This one right here is the Wolfsburg West. They're very, very similar. However, this one here is curved at the bottom, and it allows it to fit better around the handle itself. It curves right around the handle. I prefer that. So I'm going to keep the originals in mind. There's nothing wrong with the originals unless they're broken or cracked. In that case, you'll have to use your Wolfsburg West ones, which are still fine. You can see that they fit. The fit is great, but you just don't have that rounded edge at the front as well. I purchased just about everything from Wolfsburg West. They're more expensive. The quality is really good. The service is really good. Of course, they're in California. We're on the East Coast. Shipping's a little slow sometimes, but then again, I'm not in a big hurry anyway. So here's the original, the one that I already, like I said, I haven't taken this one apart, but it's still functioning fine. I think I'll take it apart anyway, just to clean stuff up in there. Here's one of the guts that I've already taken out. That's what the inside looks like with nothing. And I'm going to show you how to take apart an original handle if you're wanting to do this yourself. It's not a hard job at all. I just looked at the function of things, the way that they work, and I went from there. And it was really, really quite easy. I say it as I'm dropping springs all over the place, but there's not a whole lot of pieces to it, so don't let it scare you. Here's the original design, I guess you could say. Went right down through here. There's a spring in here. And there was a guide pin in there that goes down, but it has since broken off. And again, Rare Air has come up with a fix on this. If you look up the Samba, on the Samba, look up Rare Air and the 67 only door locks or door handles. What he does is he takes a larger bolt, he puts a screw on the end of it, puts the spring on it so it'll still function as the guide pin, and then finally when you install this you actually cut this off. So this is what it'll look like when you put this in. I got pieces all over the place here. Put this all together. Push this down here. So this is what it's going to look like when you have it all together. You'll see the guide pin is, what you want to do is you want to cut, once you get this guide pin in, the new one, you have your spring in there, you have your guide pin, you want to cut it right about like here, so it's just below this part, because this part actually turns around. This is your lock. You want to cut it just below the lock so that the lock will be able to spin over top of the guide pin around. So again, you want to cut just below that part so it can turn around. And here's what the cut part looks like. So I've got this is going to be fun to do. Alright. Here's the actual guide pin after it's been cut. Put the spring in here. The bottom part of that guide pin, I keep calling it a guide pin, the bottom part fits down in here, the spring fits over top of the guide pin, and this gets all pushed down into the assembly. Try to hold it together with my finger here so I can show you real quick. There we go. So if you look, the guide pin's been cut down. It's just below this notch where this will actually be able to turn over top of it and not interfere with it. See what I mean, how it moves around? That's all I wanted to show you that, really. It looks like a lot of pieces, but once you've done it a couple times, it's super easy. Alright, so once you take this side piece off of here, you got your guide pin, all that kind of stuff out, you're going to have this whole assembly here that comes out as a whole. It's going to look like this. Get this out of the way. You have this piece that looks... This piece is going to look like... It's going to look just like this. This is your tumbler's inside of this, which has your keys, or your key goes in there, there's your tumbler. What I did was, there's a very small pin here that you push out from the other side. If you this hole right here, this piece right here goes all the way through, and it locks the top on the actual baler. What I did was I took a small little finishing nail. You see that little head on it? I actually took the finishing nail, put it in the other side, and I was able to hammer down on this and pop this pin right out. So that pin drops out. That worked fantastic, the little finishing nail. So once I got the pin out, this little cap pulls right off. I cleaned that all up using a, I think this is a really good idea too. I had a little mini scribe. I took this and scraped it all off, got all the old junk out of it, cleaned it all up, cleaned everything, scratched it all out. And then I took carb cleaner and just sprayed it all around inside there. Cleaned it all out. That's probably as good as it's gonna get there. So that's your little cap piece on there. I don't know how far involved you want to get with this, but I went all out. Took the top little head piece off. This spring is meant to go. You can see how this. Let's see. The spring is situated between this piece right here, which keeps it. As you turn the key, it springs it back. It's going to spring the lock back. So that's what that spring's purpose is for. If you can see where my the spring is in the other one, it's situated right between that, so it'll spring back both ways when you turn the lock. So the spring comes off. Then once you got that all off, this literally just pulls completely out. Now what I did was, before I pulled it out, I was a little skeptical. Shoot, I don't have my keys with me. I was a little skeptical. I was afraid that when I pulled it out, the actual pins in the baler were all going to drop all over the place. So I actually put my key in the slot before I pulled this out. And the case is, once I actually pulled it out, nothing fell out. So I don't think it's necessary, but it might be a good idea for you to put the key in there before you pull this all out. So as you pull this out, you've got your tumbler. We call it the baler or the tumbler. Tumbler comes out. You're at this point right now. So pretty much all you have now is guts. I went all inside here again with my little scraper, scraped it all out, cleaned it all out, got all the junk out of it from 50 years ago. Cleaned it with carburetor cleaner, cleaned it all up really good. Then you're at this point where you're at the tumbler. Now, I'm not a locksmith, I'll tell you that right now, but I did spray carb cleaner all down inside here. I didn't scrape or anything, but I sprayed carb cleaner all down inside here, got it real clean, let it dry out really well, and then you want to use graphite, powdered graphite lubricant in this tumbler here. The reason being is, if you have anything that's sticky, like a grease, whenever you put your key in there, that grease is going to like attract the dirt and gunk that's on your keys and stuff. So powder graphite is probably the best thing you want to use. You can get it at any Lowe's or Home Depot in the key section. You just spray it down or sprinkle it down in there. It's a really good lubricant, and it's a dry lubricant, so it's not going to attract dirt and stuff. So I think that's pretty much it. I got all, like I said, all the guts out, cleaned it all up, carb cleaner, got it lubricated. This slides right back in. Your spring, which I haven't done yet, might be a little tricky, but your springs will go on here, and I think I have to, what I have to do is twist these two. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it without taking up too much video time, but this one goes this way. Might need something like a little flat blade screwdriver. Actually, I almost had it there. Almost had it. I don't want to take up too much time. Well, basically, you've got your screw in there. I mean, your spring in there. This side wants to go over to this side, and that side's going to go on this side. So it's going to make it spring back every time you do it. All right. For the video, I'm just going to show you how this goes back together. You put your little pin that you got out. You want to push your pin in there. Again, I'm not putting this back 100% because I'm not finished yet. I've got to get it rekeyed. There's a gentleman on the Samba as well. I think it's Gab Key, I believe it is. I've heard a lot of really, really good things about him. Chris Vallone recommends him. And he knows a lot of people in the industry, so I would recommend Gab Key if you want to get keys made for your bug. He can make one key fit your ignition, your doors, and your deck lid, which would be pretty awesome. One key to do it all. All he does is replace the tumblers inside there or something. But anyway, so that's that. Once this is all back together, you push it all back together. This gets pushed in through here. Then your pin, which is, where's my pin? Oh, here it is. Your pin sits down here. Your spring sits on top of here. This goes down here. Are we on there yet? That goes on there. I'll throw the screw in here right now just for the heck of it. Tighten that down just a little bit for right now. And this piece is not on yet because I didn't push it back in because I'm not finished with it. But you see what it looks like. This large piece faces toward the front. The smaller pieces, or there's no piece, but there it's flat. It's facing toward the back of it. But so as you push in on the latch, your slide pin is going up and down there, nice and smooth, and it's just high enough to where this piece can rotate back and forth, not get in the way. So I think that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and edit this, get it on YouTube for you guys. My daughter's really good with editing and things, so I'll get her to help me out. But powdered graphite is a really good idea. I recommend that. And again, what Rare Air had said about these pins you purchase, I'm not sure where I got them from. It was a year ago, but he would have the information. This is really nice because it allows it to move nice and smooth in and out. So I think that's it. So take care of your original door handles. There are no other ones out there. If you find one that is even available in the aftermarket, it's going to be junk. I'll guarantee you that. But if they've worked for 50 years in this condition and you rebuild them, clean them all up, put them back together, I know they've got a lot more years worth of use out of them. So again, thank you, YouTube.